name is Ambrose Guti. I'm hosting an online show called The Fireplace. The Fireplace Show. Many people have been wondering and asking about what The Fireplace is all about, and I'm just taking this opportunity to be able to dig deep into the concept of the fireplace and how it came to be, so that then we can be able to sell our vision out there for people to be able to understand us, for purposes of running with us, because we understand that together we are strong. I want to begin at a place where I have done a lot of work in the development sector, social development sector, mostly in Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, and Bungoma counties. Back in the year 2009, 2010, 2011, 2013. And I must say that it is this kind of background that has given me an opportunity to even think about something like the fireplace. So I want to say that my experience has brought me to the knowledge of several challenges facing young people. And of course, my focus has always been reaching out to young people, talking to young people, working for young people, and making sure that young people are translating their talents and natural abilities, which are essentially their resources, into something that is positive in building their communities and building their lives. Most of the time we got to a place where we wanted to reach to a certain number of people, but we had the challenge of mobilizing the young people, bringing them together, and being able to speak to them. And of course, working in the civil society, there's always a concept of facilitating them from wherever they're coming from to a particular venue, and be able to talk to them on whatever subject that we were intending to talk to them. And so with the unsustainability of funding from donors and stuff like that, it was always difficult to be consistent. And so sometimes we wanted to talk to young people, and we realized that we cannot be able to do that, given that they will always want some transport reimbursement, they'll always want some cup of tea when you're talking, or even lunch if you're taking them throughout the day. And that was really a challenge for me and my team. And so I came to a point where I went to Mombasa for some contract for 2 years, and that was a moment of transformation for me. And I can say that was the time when the fireplace idea was born, because I continued to think about, like, how do we continue to get our young people informed without necessarily having a lot of money to facilitate their transport, to be able to facilitate their tea or lunch and stuff like that. And according to available statistics, Kenya has about 7 million Facebook subscribers. Yeah, that is about 13% of Africa subscribers. So the young people are heavily present online at this particular age, and that is one thing that triggered me to start thinking, why can't we be able to use the online platform to be able to propagate our ideas, to be able to continue interacting with young people without necessarily coughing a lot of money or begging for donors to come and support that kind of thing. And of course, donors are not always reliable. So while I was in Mombasa working for an organization called Big Ship, an environmental organization, the idea of the fireplace was born, and I decided to come back to Trans Nzoia to activate my networks that I had left 2 years ago, and see how the fireplace can really get started. Essentially, the fireplace is here to, inspire action from the young people for transformation. My experience in the past has been young people complaining about this and that, about lack of the jobs, about poverty, about the kind of education we get, about bad leadership, and every other thing actually around them. But for me, I think we need to stop complaining, because as somebody said, the moment you complain, you minimize your chances of getting out of the situation, because really complaining doesn't really make a difference. So for me, I thought, like, let us find a platform that can be able to inspire young people into action, the action that can be able to make a difference in whatever situation they think they're uncomfortable. If it is the issue of lack of employment, which is really a big issue in this country and of course across Africa, how can young people provide a solution to this kind of situation? If it is the issue of education and training, and a lot of questions have come or arisen as a result of the kind of education that we give to our African young people. Is there something that the young people themselves can be able to do to make a difference? If it is the issue of leadership, and we know, all of us understand that actually leadership in Africa is really wanting, but we cannot just complain forever. We need to get to a point where we make a difference by acting in a way that really changes the situation. So the fireplace, in its intention, is to inspire actions in the lives of young people in whichever communities they come from, of course at the grassroots level, to be able to start providing solutions for the challenges that they are going through and their communities are going through. So that is basically why the fireplace is up and running, and of course utilizing the online platform. Virtually every young person, of course, except a few, are online. Either they are on Facebook, they are on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social media platforms. And so we have started to explore the potential that lies on Facebook. We have from the Facebook page, and we run our shows live on Facebook. And we have received a lot of positive feedback so far, because when we started, that is like more than 2 months ago, actually this week we are doing our 11th episode, and we do it every week. So that means we've been online for approximately 11 weeks. We have gotten very, very good feedback. So in terms of why the fireplace is doing what it's doing, is because we have had a lot of things. We have had a lot of stories about Africa rising, Africa rising. And a friend of mine was really challenging me, how long is Africa going to take to rise? Because things are not really changing. Yeah? If there are any changes, then they're very minimal. So how long is Africa going to take to rise? Yeah? Because you look at Africa, we have high cases of gender-based violence in South Africa. We have high corruption in this country of ours, Kenya. I mean, we have been doing very well in terms of corruption. And although there are efforts by governments to really work on that, but if I can give an example of a football game, winning the game doesn't really matter about you possessing the ball 90% of the time, or being able to run faster than the others. It actually comes back to scoring, because the team that scores is the one that wins. So whether this country has a lot of efforts, a lot of activities, a lot of conversations around fighting corruption, the point comes to what are the results, and we are not seeing much coming through. And we have had a lot of conflict across Africa. We have had a lot of war, ethnic or otherwise, interreligious, Islam, fighting with Christians and stuff like that. We have had a lot of, in Ghana, children, young people are still sitting on stones while they are learning. At this age, things are crazy. Things are crazy in Africa, and we have poverty and diseases. Ebola is killing people while governments have the resources to be able to take care of these kind of things. So, the narrative of Africa rising that is not really coming through very nicely. But from where I sit, we need, as young people of Africa, to deliberately make a step towards really making Africa the kind of continent that it should be, to help Africa rise. And in our small ways, like the Fireplace and other initiatives across Africa, are geared towards convincing and convicting young people to swing into action and make a difference in whichever way that they can be able to achieve that. But apart from the endless wars, the poverty, the diseases, the corruption, the bad leadership that we have also have a lot of resources. We have minerals, we have oil, we have good agricultural land, we have human resource. I mean, Africa has a high population for young people, and those young people are supposed to be actually a resource, to be translated into a resource, to be put into use, to make a difference, to make Africa move to the next level. But that is not happening. So in as much as we have those negative sides, I don't want to be very pessimistic, but we also have a lot of resources that can make Africa become the kind of giant we all aspire Africa to become. But I don't think we can get there without fixing some stuff. And for me, from where I sit, to achieve this, we must be able to break the barriers. Somebody with a passport in Europe can be able to crisscross Europe without a problem, and can be able to come to Africa and go to almost every country without a problem. But Africans have a big problem. If I am a Kenyan and I want to go to Rwanda, for example, it's crazy. We have I don't know what is going on with Africa, because we don't even like ourselves. We don't. Rwandans don't like Kenyans. Kenyans don't like South Africans. South Africans don't like Nigerians. It's crazy, and we cannot be able to rise and be the kind of giant that we are looking forward to become if we have such things going on. So for me, I think we need to start breaking down the barriers, make it easy for people to interact, Kenyans to do business in Uganda, Tanzania, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, stuff like that. Because as we continue to interact, we bonding, we sharing ideas, and that is where our energy lies. The more we're divided, I don't think anything is going to happen. That is number one. Number two is to be able to fix our leadership. And I will give examples of 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 10 of the kind of leaders that we have in this continent of ours that is not really making a difference. Leadership that is not even interested in fixing the economy of their countries and improving the livelihoods of their people, going around borrowing money, loans that are not sustainable, and burdening the people in raising taxes and stuff like that. Those are the kind of leaders that we need to do away with, literally, and have some people who can get into office and start fixing things that must be fixed. Leaders that can be able to harness the kind of potential Africa has and stop dependency on the West or whatever kind of donors that we are currently engaging. So for me, I think that is point number 2. Point number 3 is to be able to tone down on dependency or foreign aid. And I can tell you, Kenya, like any other African countries, we have huge dependency on donors. Yeah, you look at our national budget, you look at how many projects are funded by donors, projects that essentially are supposed to be funded by government. Yeah, and the money that the people of this country are giving in terms of taxes is being used to pay huge salaries for politicians, for government officers who are essentially sitting in offices and just snoring and not really delivering. And we are saying as young people of Africa that this is something that must be able to be fixed. We cannot internally continue to depend on foreign aid. We need to get to a level where we can stop that and fix our economies ourselves and make sure that we are independent economically. That's point number 3. Yeah, point number 4 is to be able to fix the economy of Africa. Every leader in any country in Africa should be able to focus on how to be able to build a sustainable economy where they can be able to pay for their own bills, where they can be able to create an environment for Africans to do business and to prosper. And that is what actually we lack. We're looking at training a lot of young people, professionals, running to European countries and other countries looking for opportunities of employment, while leaders in this continent of ours have the responsibility to create employment opportunities for those young professionals. So we are saying that from where I sit as the host of the fireplace, I think these are some of the key things. Of course, there might be others. There are other things that needs to be done, but I think we need to be able to look at the priority areas that we need to fix. And I believe that young people have the capacity, if they can all be mobilized, they can be sensitized, they can be inspired into action. Each young people across Africa purposefully doing something to change the situation in whichever area that they come from, that is the beginning of change. So I believe that we still have Nelson Mandela is not the only Nelson Mandela that was born. He has inspired a lot of young people, and we want to see new Nelson Mandelas arising in Africa and kind of doing something for our motherland. Yeah, we have had amazing leaders in the past, and we don't just want to read them in history books. We want to emulate them. We want them to be reborn in our generation, so that then these kind of leaders can be able to fix the kind of challenges that Africa is facing at the moment. So I believe that Africa has an opportunity to really rise to the global stage and become a giant that is supposed to become, but we need to begin somewhere. Young people must start to put their leadership into account. They must start putting pressure on their leaders to deliver. They must be able to start engaging with their leadership on the future, because really, the young people are the future of Africa. We are the ones who are passing on the baton to the next generation, and therefore they need to be able to listen to us. They need to be able to respond to our issues, and that is the only way that we are going to take care of the future of Africa. So the fireplace is this kind of platform that young people, that is creating an opportunity for young people to engage, to discuss, to agree and disagree, look at the priority areas that we have across Africa and start working on them one by one, from whichever corner that you come from in Africa, from whichever village. Because really, if I have my schools in my country, Kenya, northern side of this country, where they are learning under a tree, it's not a different case when we have children in Ghana learning sitting on stones at this age. And that situation is replicated across African countries. And the big question that we must be able to ask is, really, in these countries we have people who are paying taxes so that their children can get an education that can make a difference? Yeah. So certain things must be fixed, and young people must start acting towards that direction. And of course, as the fireplace, we want to provide that opportunity. We want to make sure that we have that kind of conversation and see that progress is being made. The fireplace is not the kind of platform that is focusing on either Trans Nzoia County or Western region of Kenya or even Kenya alone, because sooner than later we are actually discussing issues that are affecting Tanzania, issues that are affecting Rwanda, issues that are affecting South Africa, and really rise to that level where we can be able to engage African young people across the continent and have a consensus on the kind of Africa that we want. And of course, I'm excited. This is one of those visions that gives me sleepless nights. Sometimes I wake up and I wonder whether I am dreaming or it is a reality. But I believe in the vision of the fireplace to be able to deliver us to the promised land, if I may be able to say that, because I believe the future is in the hands of young people. If the young people are not empowered, if the young people do not rise to the occasion and really take charge of this continent, we are doomed, literally. Yeah, we are having issues of China, starting, manipulating African countries by, giving them money and loans that are unsustainable and using that as a way of manipulating African economies. I mean, that is not something that is supposed to be happening at this age. We must be able to bring it to a stop and make sure that Africa is independent economically. And I know it's not going to happen overnight, but we need to start doing something, and eventually, if we maintain the momentum, if we are committed to this course, we will get there. I want to talk about when we started the fireplace. We have done very well. Of course, every dream, there is no vision that comes into being with everything that is everything available. When we started doing the first episode of the fireplace, we talked to a facility to offer us a venue because they believed in our vision, without really paying hard cash. We talked to friends of ours who have instruments like cameras, like lighting, like everything else, to be able to come through and make this happen. And the fireplace is really a big vision, and many people are buying into it more and more. We are seeing more people coming and saying how they want to become part of the fireplace, and that is something very exciting. And therefore, so we are really creating opportunities and windows of more people and more outfits, whether companies or whatever it is, to be able to participate. I want to just make a call out there that we still need a lot of support to be able to really reach a wider audience, and make sure that we increase the people who are engaging in this kind of conversation. We definitely will want to partner with media outfits in this country and across Africa, while maintaining our traditional platform of online broadcasting and stuff like that. So we want to thank all the fans and our supporters who have come through so far to be able to buy into our vision, to be able to stand with us. And sometimes we even don't even have a cup of tea, but we are believing that this is a vision that is so far much greater than anything else. So we are not letting any challenge come between us. We are committed to making sure that we leave a mark in the history of this continent. And that is really what is inspiring